I'm looking to promote this product no matter what it takes. And I've just walked into the door of one of the head executives, one of the most respected people in the news business today. Let's begin. Mr. Davis, it's a pleasure to meet you. Mr. Jonathan Edwards from Direct to You. How you doing?
Nice to see you, Mr. Edwards. I was expecting you today.
Yes.
What can I do for you?
Basically, I'm here today. You may have already gotten some background from some people you probably already talked to about this that work in your office. And I'm here today to promote a particular type of product called News to You that I think can really help out with your news operations. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've seen it all. You've heard it all. You were there at the beginning with Cronkite and Murrow. You've seen it go through the 70s and 80s, some of the big news stories of our time. And you're thinking, how can this young guy in front of me actually be able to do that? I bet that's what you're thinking, am I correct?
I meet with a lot of salespeople that have a lot of plans and everything sounds great, but a lot of times it's just good to be brick and mortar and typewriter and bang out a news story like we used to in the old days.
So I'm understanding, from what I'm understanding, you're kind of longing for that kind of old-fashioned information interplay between, let's say, the public out there who wants to hear the hard news versus often the infotainment that we see today with tabloids and Britney Spears and all that, and Lindsay Lohan, and all this other stuff that we see running around. Am I correct?
You're absolutely right, Jonathan. In the old days, it was news, it was all this stuff with Lindsay Lohan. We don't need it, but I think it'll all come around eventually. We've seen some different cycles.
And often these things come and go. Am I correct?
Yeah, these things tend to work themselves out over time somehow.
Well, I guess the big question I have for you in terms of what we have to offer is really this: how can how can something based on what you've heard so far? Basically, what questions do you have for me in regards to this?
Well, Jonathan, I appreciate you taking time to come out here today.
Yeah.
A lot of salespeople come and they talk to me and they've got a new widget or a new hammer that'll solve all my problems. And we're in an environment today of declining readership of ratings, and everyone wants to talk about Lindsay Lohan. I want to know how you can help me put news and get viewers in front of the TV so I can protect my staff and protect my job.
So if I were you, I'd be thinking, okay, this guy's coming at me with a new product. I don't know exactly all the specifics to it, but I'd like to understand a little bit more about how it can relate to the viewer out there in TV land. Am I correct?
Please tell me how you can help me with Direct to You.
Basically, what the particular type of product we're offering, News to You, basically does a couple things. It allows literally the viewer to take their remote control. They're sitting at home. Now, how great is this? You're sitting at home. You're sitting home with the family. You're kicking back after a long, hard day of hearing news after news. And you can just turn on the TV, whatever program you're watching. You can activate a button, and it shows you a little, remember the old picture-in-a-picture type of thing you used to see on TV?
Like a picture in a picture.
Yeah. A little inset basically showing you, aside from the major program that's already being shown. You can literally take that remote control with a little laser pointer, and you can get on the internet just like that, and you can find out whatever's going on with the TV. You can find, like for instance, let's say the recent earthquake in Haiti, which I know you've done extensive coverage.
Yeah, that's news.
It is. You can find out about Haiti by going on the internet in this little box and finding out everything you ever wanted to know. You can find out about population, geography. The average viewer can do this. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, we've got some of the best reporters in the business. They're already relaying this information to everybody. But because of everybody's attention span, they often don't see it, correct?
Yeah, the attention span of these people today, we'd have a 5-minute story on Haiti 10 years ago. Now it's a 30-second cut. It's crazy these days.
Exactly my point. This little box allows you to access that information in real time and actually be able to see that same information for themselves and be able to provide that service not just to themselves but also their children, and they want to know more.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that last point?
In terms of, for instance, often families like to sit down and be able to enjoy a television program or two at the end of the day.
That's how it is in the Davis household.
Absolutely, as is in mine. And if I'm correct in understanding, you often like to get together to actually watch some common programs and understand what's going on with that, correct?
Absolutely.
So what this basically does to address that point is it allows basically the family to come together and actually learn what they're seeing on the television and be able to see the information for themselves as they're hearing it and see the internet.
So how does that look like if I'm sitting there with my 9-year-old son and I've got my channel on and my reporter's doing a 60-second bit on Haiti? How does that work?
Basically what it does is this. What you have you have of course the reporter.
Regular screen.
You have the reporter doing their story, doing, I'm sure, their most professional job in reporting either on the ground in Port-au-Prince or maybe in Washington covering what the State Department's doing on it. They can literally point that clicker and see that little box come up. Let's say they wanted to find out about the State Department. The State Department's website comes up, and they can see all the things that they're doing in response to Haiti, and maybe even contribute extra money to what's going on.
Oh, I see. So it's like combining the internet and the TV.
Exactly. And not only do adults learn it, children learn as well. And we all know that just with the declining viewership and the times we live in, that's an essential part of understanding education. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely. We're facing, so the good old days, we used to have good news on and real newscasters and a lot of viewers, and now revenue's just declining, advertising revenue's declining. I'm losing staff, and one of these days my job's going to be on the block. So I'm meeting with you to find out what you can do to help me.
Well, and basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, again, you're trying to promote that viewership and you're trying to get people back into the marketplace so they can actually you can watch the news and you can get higher viewerships, higher advertising dollars. It all filters down, am I correct?
Absolutely. I'm always telling my bosses that I need to just have news, and they're always telling me that Brangelina puts more advertising dollars on than the Russian summit.
Absolutely. So what I can do is to kind of address this concern, this allows the viewer an interactive experience that no other company or no other place can really offer. And it really will change the way people view news. Now, I understand you're apprehensive about the cost of this.
I don't know that I'm trying to change the world. I just want people to, you're coming kind of quick with this magic point of yours. I don't want to change the world. I just want people to watch more news.
Exactly. And if I'm understanding you again correctly, basically the idea is you want news viewership to go up. And you want people to actually see what's going on out there and learn
That's my
something
job.
from the experience.
That's my job.
Exactly. So what we can do is offer you, basically, we have a standard 3-year trial that basically deals with this. Now, I understand, if I'm understanding you correctly from hearing from, I guess, some people I talked to earlier, you're concerned about the cost of that.
Well, a lot of salespeople come to see me, and everything costs money, and I'm sure you didn't come here to give me something for free.
No,
So-
and basically that's a good founded concern. And what I can do is, if you're concerned about the 3 year, if I'm understanding you right, what we can basically do for you is we can cut that down to maybe like basically like a 12-month guaranteed plan that you can opt out of after the end of that period. And if you don't want it anymore, you don't want it. And we can just move on from there.
Sounds like your company does have some flexibility, and this might be something I need to consider. But I don't like change. We've been doing news all this time, and they come in and they change it. And they want me to talk about Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears, and we just need to put some news on the air and get people to watch, so we can have viewer advertising on our TV.
And that's understandable. And if I'm understanding you right again, you're concerned that the quality news is going to be filtered out of that, and people won't be able to take full advantage of what this may potentially offer them. And that's the great thing about what we offer with a 12-month plan, is this, you can try it out for a year, and then after that year, if you find it's just not working out, that's fine, you can move on.
Have you had other people use this? What type of results do you expect me to get?
We've had some pretty favorable outcomes so far, but it's in the initial stages. But obviously, a company as respected as yours can obviously take advantage of it and give it a try for a year. What do you think?
Well, it sounds to me like getting families in front of the TV is good. The kids are hooked up to the internet, so putting the two of them together, it's a pretty good idea that you came up with. Where do I sign?
Excellent. I'll draw up the documents and get them to you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.